There are a lot of channels that have covered the Gina Carano drama in depth, so I'll just give a quick summary here. Carano is an actress who had a role in the popular Disney Plus series The Mandalorian. She made some Twitter posts that people didn't like, so Disney fired her, and she got dropped by her talent agency. Almost immediately afterwards, Carano announced that she would make a film with Ben Shapiro's media company, The Daily Wire. My initial response to it all was simply this. Carano's film with The Daily Wire is probably going to suck. I base this prediction on three key factors. 1. The vast majority of movies that get made are bad. It's hard to do a good one, so the odds are against most who try. 2. Carano's filmography mostly consists of straight-to-DVD action sludge. And 3. The Daily Wire doesn't have any track record of producing movies at all. But then I guess that's beside the point, isn't it? What Carano is actually trying to do here is bigger than making a movie, good or bad. She's trying to demonstrate that Hollywood can be beaten. She's not the first to try. Arguably, this is a ball that has been rolling ever since Netflix got into the original content game, which led to a bunch of other non-Hollywood competitors to jump in to varying degrees of success. In light of that, it's actually surprising that this is the first time in recent memory that someone with a somewhat high profile engaged in such an open act of defiance. Perhaps it's because Hollywood weathered the previous storms that have tried to puncture their stranglehold on US entertainment. But something might have changed in the past year that has hurt Hollywood a little bit, and presented a crisis-opportunity for potential competitors. While I wouldn't say that Hollywood is afraid of Carano per se, or Shapiro, on the whole they're not acting like an industry that's in a position of strength. The most obvious example is in how these studios are dealing with the Chinese market. Contrary to popular belief, Hollywood studios do not make much money directly from the Chinese box office, as a result of the CCP's protectionist policies. They don't make much on the back end either, because of the Chinese authorities' legendary indifference to protecting Western intellectual property from piracy or copyright infringement. The real reason Hollywood bends over so much for China is market share. They are terrified of the possibility of the Chinese film industry growing within its home market unchecked. So Hollywood desperately wants to keep a foothold there, because if a handful of Chinese film studios were to dominate their home turf the way Hollywood has dominated the American sector for a century, they would quickly amass the resources necessary to steamroll Hollywood's presence on the global market. Thus, Hollywood takes the US market for granted and is willing to sacrifice goodwill in the short term to protect their long-term interests in China. However, it becomes interesting to speculate what might happen if someone manages to find a way to further erode Hollywood's influence in the West. As I said earlier, this is a ball that has been rolling for a long time. Maybe it's ready to pick up some speed.